Good morning, day 8 of recording myself every day. Today is Thursday, April 17th at 8:23 a.m. I just woke up and ready to get the day started. I went to bed on time, but I really struggled to go to sleep, so I got up for like an hour of laying in bed and then used ChatGPT Deep Research to research what books, because I just finished The Art of War by Sun Tzu, so I wanted to know like, oh, do you think does ChatGPT have like a good recommendation for like books to read next based on my preferences? And it did all right. So I have like a database on Notion of all the books I've read and then ratings for them and then all the books I plan to read. It really struggled to read that and kind of understand like what the database meant in terms of what books I still have to read and what books I haven't read, because they would give me recommendations based on books that I'd already read. And then when I said I already read that one, it gave me another recommendation of a book I already read. And then when I said I read that one, it gave me the first book again. So it was just like still has a way to go, but I think the next book I'm gonna read is the Never Finished by David Goggins. I don't really know anything about it, and yeah, but he did release it on my birthday in 2022, so that's cool. Plan for today: eat breakfast, edit, gym, come home, watch the second half of the Valencia Barcelona game, juggle, and then I think I don't have anything else besides that. Something I wanted to do but I didn't do was plan out my day, plan out the rest of my kind of week slash break for doing schoolwork, because I have a lot to do. That's something I'll probably start today. I think my day will then be split up between working on documentation for Amplify, the nutrition app, and doing some work for school. That's all I have right now. About to make breakfast, about to drink my AG1. But if I have anything else, I'll tell y'all. While making my breakfast, just finished the 500th episode of OpenAI's, and at the end, he was being very reflective about like the journey it took and how much time he takes to put into that. And I think I've heard a lot, especially from podcasts, people saying like, "Oh, I made this and I knew in the first like 3 years, the first 300 episodes, the first 400 episodes, like I wasn't really expecting much from this, but I knew that I was gonna just keep on going." And I kind of see like a parallel between those stories and kind of like how I'm thinking about making these videos. I don't expect anything for years to come from them, but I think if I just keep on posting and I keep on trying to get better at them, that eventually maybe they'll become interesting to where people like want and enjoy watching them. So I don't know. I just think that if you're gonna do something, you might as well put like a longer time horizon on it. If you really want to do something, no matter what it is, if it's like a goal or it's like posting every day. For me, like soccer is another one of those things that I'm planning to play soccer for 15 years, no matter what level I'm at in 5 years, no matter what level I'm at in 10 years, I'm gonna keep on trying to play. I'm gonna be in Europe for those like amount of years. And I think measuring in like a longer time horizon, it allows me to like get through, because I know I'm never gonna quit or never gonna stop. So I just there's only one choice, which is to keep on going, because I might as well make it the best as I can. What I actually plan, I don't know if I've talked about this, but the biggest thing I think I can get out of making this YouTube video is actually the growing an audience of people who are kind of similar to me, because something I've really struggled with and something that I'm thinking about now, especially as I'm gonna try to start building a team around like my Amplify app and just kind of me, is that I haven't met like a lot of people who are like superly overly ambitious, that work-life balance like isn't a thing to them. And I mean, I think I just would like to surround myself with more people like that. And I don't really post that much on social media, and I haven't really done anything to like promote myself. So I guess this is a good way of like showing how I build myself into someone I can promote via these videos. Or if I want to promote, I don't know how to describe it, but it's kind of like building myself into someone who has the achievements that match how I actually think and how I actually act. So that's just kind of where I'm at. And then also, if you're for some reason watching this video, you feel like you're like a really hardworking person and you really have high goals and don't really believe in work-life balance, like drop a comment or something. What's up? I'm just recording the video right now, as you can see, or editing yesterday's video. And some things that I noticed, one, still really shit at talking. I feel like I have to be a lot more passionate, and when I'm talking, like a lot more like if I don't know how to describe it. And then also when I'm recording these videos, especially with me talking, I'm constantly walking around. And honestly, it's like, I think in the future, I'm just going to put up the camera somewhere and then sit and talk. Yeah, just trying to always think how I can improve. I might watch a video on like how to talk more interestingly, because I feel like the way I talk is kind of boring. I talk in the same tone like the entire time, but I want to be able to talk where I have like really like passionate moments, and then like also times where I'm like a little bit more mellow. It's just like better at captivating like people's attention. And then that's not only like for the video, that's like in general. Like I should be able to be interesting when I talk, not only about like what I'm saying, which should also get more interesting in terms of like making the story be interesting slash make sense to people, but also like my tone and like cadence. Here's me editing. I was constantly checking my phone, checking to see if I got any notifications. So I set up the time lapse just so I wouldn't be able to check it. But it's a love-hate relationship with editing because I like getting better, but it's hard to watch myself. I can see myself pause so much, see myself where I really struggle to talk. So just trying to continue to improve that. Directly into the gym. This was a lower body day, so I started out with squats. This was my third set, which I did 5 for 117, and then this one we're watching in real time because this was 132.5 kg, which is about 290 pounds, and this is the most I've ever done, so you're gonna watch it with me. Someone walks in front of the camera, but it's all right, can't control them. And then I go to RDLs on a platform. I feel like my form's actually pretty good, especially for these. Maybe not on the squats, but I end with sus machine, but I need strong glutes. This is so funny to do something in front of someone else. Back to the gym. Absolutely exquisite workout. Hit a lower body day. You'll see some videos on that, and then I'll probably have some voiceover about like what I was doing, how it went. I did really well on squat. My last set that you'll see was 135.2 kilograms for 2 reps, which is about 290 pounds, which is my like, I don't go for 1 rep maxes, but the closest to the highest weight I've ever done in 2 reps. So that's pretty good. Shows I'm getting stronger. Next, I'm going to watch the second half of the Valencia game and then do my juggling and then eat food. And then after that, I think I have the rest of the day to just do some work. I want to introduce someone. So I've like said like someone is staying with me, but they haven't been here, so I haven't really been able to like show them on camera. And then I asked their permission. So if he like copyrights this or something, like I have proof that I'm okay. And then this is Daniel. Daniel, you can introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Daniel Kong. I'm one of Evan's buddies from USC, staying over in Madrid for a couple of days. Evan has graciously hosted for the next couple of days, so I'm off the streets. Thank you for that, Evan.
Yeah. Where are you studying right now?
I'm studying Rotterdam in the Netherlands.
Okay, how do you like it so far?
Weather has just finally gotten good. January and February are a bit tough. The sun wasn't coming out, so...
Wait, can you give some like numbers? Like with Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Definitely Fahrenheit. It would be around the 30s and 40s. But the thing is, because it's really windy,
it felt like 0.
Yeah, the weather app would be like it feels like 22 degrees or like 20 degrees outside. So like even if like the sun is out, the 1 or 2 days like throughout January and February where it was out, the wind would just negate it, just so it would be cold as hell.
Okay, now we kind of talked about this the day you got here, but like, what are you trying to do after school? And like talk about your app, the app you're creating.
Oh yeah.
Just a little introduction, little introduction.
Okay, for sure. So right now I'm working on my startup, which is basically the common app for college clubs and extracurriculars. So centralizing it and putting it all in one platform, so it's easy for incoming freshmen and I guess underclassmen as a whole whose process of navigating through the college clubs is very complicated right now. There's no centralized platform where they can find everything related to clubs and extracurriculars that they can join. So just putting that all in one platform right now, working on that and actually pitching it to USC in order to make things work and integrating it from there. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Wait, that was actually really good. The pitch was like,
Was that your first time like doing it?
No, I've
You've talked to people about okay, because like that's even like really rehearsed. Especially I like when I try to describe like what I want to do to people. I feel like I'm so shit about like
your brain's everywhere.
yeah. I don't know but that was really good. And then thank you for being in the video. Gonna get a time lapse of me doing work, and then I'll check back in probably after lunch just to see how everything went. Here's me just watching the game. Just got in. You'll see me over time slowly shift to the right. I just keep on moving. I noticed this when I was like watching it back, and I was just like, "What am I doing?" But just continue watching games. I think watching games as much as I can will build like secondhand experience in my head, so I'll be more used to what pro players are doing because I've seen it so many times. And then after this, I get straight into juggling. I actually started out really well, so I got done with all my usual variations in the first 30 minutes, and then the last 30 minutes was spent on the two variations that I don't get as much time to do because I either don't get to them. So it was a little bit frustrating to do that because I was just constantly failing and failing. On one variation, it took 20 minutes, and then on the last variation, it took 10 minutes, but the time ran out, so I didn't even get to do it. But it's just trying to create like smaller sub goals in that big goal so I can eventually reach my target. Last time I talked to you, I finished the gym, I came home, and then you saw the time lapse of me watching the Barcelona game, Valencia. They kind of closed out the game, not much to really say about it, although I have my opinions about it. I personally think that you should never let off the gas during games. So even if the game is 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, I think you should continue trying to score and beat down the other team until the game is over. I think partly because of that is that it trains you for when you need to pull out a goal or something, that you're always looking for it, and then you don't ever want to let the other team have an inkling that they think they can come back in the game. And I just find it better. I want to dominate the opponent. I don't want them to think that they had any chance to win the game. And if it's like 4-5-0, they're still not going to be like, oh, there's any chance. But like if it's 8 or 9-0, they're like, oh my God, this is a little different class of players. So that's just my thoughts about that. Next is I have a little text to remind me about what I want to talk about. Having passion. I don't know if I talked about this today, but I really struggle with talking at the same tone the entire time I'm talking. So in the future, I want to get better at storytelling. I want to get better at switching up my tones for things that I'm really passionate about, because I really do care about everything I'm doing. Like this video, the soccer, business, those three things are like, I want to continue to do them and continue to improve at them. So I want to talk with like an oomph so that people kind of understand like what it means to me. And I think the way to do that is to just like try to force myself at the beginning to like really have some passion about it. And then over time, it will just become like a part of me to where when I'm telling a story, if I'm at a really boring part, maybe I'll just be chill, like telling what's going on. But if it's at something that's like really important and I feel that really needs to be emphasized, that I'm going to be able to like talk with that passion so I can really get it across to you, and ultimately so I can really get it across to me, because these videos aren't only just for you to look at like what I was doing to get where I will be, but they're also for me to look at myself, look how I can do better, like look at what I'm thinking, look at what I'm doing, is there anything, and then again, like just to try to improve, particularly with the storytelling, because when I was watching these videos, and I'm just like, I'll admit it, I'm not very interesting to listen to, but I think it's not something that's a binary thing. It's something that I'm going to build over time. I'm going to be better at telling stories from start to finish so that they're interesting to me, to the viewer, to anyone I want to talk to, whether that be across a video or in person. So just like learning how to change tones, learning how to bring out that passion when I'm talking so that it's a better experience for everyone. And then Next, after the game, I decided to eat because I was starting to get hungry. It was a little bit later. I think it was around like 1:30, 1:45 when I would have started juggling, and like my stomach was starting to get to me, like starting to be like, "Oh, Loki, you need to eat, brother." And I was like, "Yeah, Loki, you right." So today's Thursday, so I have to redo all my metrics. I put it in ChatGPT, give me updated goals, and then I also added 15 minutes to my juggling, so now I'm doing an hour. So if you realize the time lapse for the juggling is a little bit longer, it's because it is. But trying to push, just trying to be better, really enjoying it actually, which sounds like crazy, but I used to be someone who absolutely hated juggling. Like my dad used to tell me like to juggle, and I'd be like, no, and I would bitch and complain the entire time because I didn't like it. But even starting here, I didn't really like it that much. But as I've gotten better, as I have these metrics, these things to track, these things to push towards, it becomes a lot more enjoyable. Partly because the more I do it, the better I get at it, and then because I'm better at it, it's more enjoyable, so I want to do it more. Like it's just kind of like a loop reinforcing itself to make me want to do it more, which is great. And I think that kind of builds into like how to properly build habits. Like I've read Atomic Habits, I've read different books about habits, how to be disciplined. Everyone will say their little thing about it. I think consistently building a habit, consistently trying to push harder, consistently trying to do more over time builds you into the person you want to be. I have been disciplined compared to my peers, which I will say is a low bar, for a long time now. But I expect so much more of myself than that. Comparing myself to the people around me is not useful. Like it's not helpful. I feel like I've never had someone I've met like one person who I feel like has even come close to how hard I work in my thing, but in their thing. So having like tracking like this, or tracking, I have a spreadsheet where I have my list of things, and then having the punishments, it helps you like become that person. And then over time, you slowly add more habits, or you slowly make the habits that you are doing longer. Like if you're running, maybe running for 5 minutes to start, and then over the course of the year, you add 5 minutes every few weeks to where you're running for 60 minutes. And it's just like over time, trying to make small improvements in whatever way you see, and then getting rid of the habits that are bad for you. Like for me, I used to like to read like manga and watch anime, but those things are not helpful to my goal. And I caught myself thinking this, I think it was today or yesterday. I think it was yesterday. It was thinking about like, oh, when can I incorporate back like reading or watching anime? Because I used to watch the anime recaps of whatever anime was like coming out at the current time. And then I caught myself and I was like, does watching anime line me up with the person I want to be? No. And although it's something I used to enjoy, it's not something that's conducive to the person I want to be. So it's something that I have to cut out of my life. And it might sound extreme, it might sound a little bit ruthless, but that's just kind of what I'm willing to sacrifice in order to reach where I want to reach. My plan is to never add things that I just did for enjoyment but didn't bring me any like betterment of myself. Like try to get those things out permanently via the punishments, via being conscious of what's helping me, what's not helping me, being conscious of who do I want to be, what does that person act like, and then trying to be as close to that person as possible. I mean, that's just what I have right now. My thinking, I feel like I'm always thinking about something. different topics based on what I'm listening to, either in the podcast, what's happening in my life. I really do want to be successful and really do want to push. And during my juggling today, especially during the starting portion, I was really like meeting all my even though I increased the targets, I was meeting them like in a good pace. And I like really started to believe that I could do it, not just in the overarching thing, like, oh, eventually I'll do it, but in the moment, I've always really struggled with psychology in terms of I really doubt like my abilities, especially during games. I overweight the ability of my opponent. I really underweight the ability of myself. And it caused me to worry and make mistakes and do things that would not allow me to play the level that I know I can. And I think through journaling, through consistently every single day, sticking to juggling, sticking to working on myself, sticking to whatever I said I was going to do, it builds a confidence in me and then also builds the skills that I haven't seen yet. I'm progressing at a faster rate than I ever have because I'm just being consistent. Like, it's as simple as that. Another thing that I think is really important, I've heard around, is that you can't really guarantee success no matter what actions you have, no matter how you were brought up. But success, I think of it as like a probability, like you can do actions that will make you closer to success. And those are the actions that I want to take. I want to take the actions that are going to bring me closer to my definition of success. And one of those actions is never missing a day, because each individual day might not be the day that you make it or the day that a big change happens, but you'll never miss a lucky day if you never miss a day. Rest of the day, I have about 4 hours to do work. So that's working on the nutrition app, that's working on Amplify. Damn, I should not be thinking that long to have that name come to my head. But just wanted to share what I was thinking and then what I have for the rest of the day.
This was my work session. I actually didn't get to show all of it because my phone was on like 3% when I checked it at the end. So I wanted to be able to record the rest of the day. But this was just me starting to do the documentation. I'm really getting a lot done. And I think in a week or two, I'll be able to fully finish one page. And then I'm going to try to build it out after that. Here's my Be Your Best Simulation Soccer. I thought I was just moving a little bit goofy today. Not as much commentary, so not a voiceover instead, but I just kind of find it really funny and good to have these moments.
Hello, my phone is on 4%, so I'm going to try and make this quick. End of day recap. I have met all my goals, met all my habits that I want to do, met what I wanted to do today. But I'm going to give you a recap from last time I talked because I think it's been a while. What you will see, I think where I left off was right before starting work. So you probably saw a time lapse. The time lapse actually ended early because my phone was at 3% when I checked it. So I decided to let it charge for a little bit so I could do this and then also record the Be Your Best. I didn't record journaling because honestly I just forgot to set it up. But since my phone's at 3%, I wouldn't have been able to record this and that. So trade-offs. Work today. What did I do? I did a lot of documentation for the calendar app. I'm going page by page and I'm defining everything that I want on the screen, the position of where I want it, and the functionality of what happens when it's clicked, what happens when it's dragged, what happens when a user's hovering over it. So I've done the top header, I've done the actual calendar header, and then I've done this like side page with the 3 hamburger bars that's pulled out. Eventually, when I have the app a lot more complete, like this will be easier to show, but Google Gemini has absolutely I think they just like took away Pro Experimental, so I can't use it anymore. So I haven't been able to code. I think the realization I have came to though is that I'm gonna be going back to Cursor, eating the cost, and using add-ons like Taskmaster, and then creating Cursor rules to really get the best out of I can. There's other coding agents that are more cost effective, like Augment Code, which is just a flat $30 per month fee. But I mean, I've talked about it all day yesterday, but there's a fly. Leverage and getting a better product faster is worth the excess expense. So I'm willing to spend more money with Cursor to get a better product faster. I kind of calculated it to see like what is the maximum I can spend per day, and I think I can reasonably spend $20 per day, which would equate to about $7,000 a year, which I hope if I'm using Cursor that much that I would have a good product by then, but we'll see. Especially if I have this documentation, I think it's going to be really clear and a lot easier for the agent to build out the interface and product, because it won't be me as much struggling with it. Moving on, my parents called me and I just wanted a quick update to see how the meeting went, because I called my dad and him and then the two other people with the nutrition app. They had a meeting yesterday at midnight for me, 5 p.m. for them. They have a weekly meeting, so this isn't like a big deal. But they were just talking about like what they thought about the budget I gave them, and then like what's going on moving forward. And what my dad told me is that one of the persons who has to get the budget approved might take 2 to 3 weeks, because I think they're going on vacation next week. So it might be a little bit before I can actually get approved. 2, the other 2 people, which is my dad and then his colleague, are going to finalize their specifications for the different levels of the MVP and kind of prioritize what features they want in the app, which would be really helpful for me, because then I could probably a lot better properly price the different MVPs, because those are just based off ChatGPT and like my understanding of what they want. But for them to tell me what they actually want, I can have a better idea of what I can actually price it as. And then finally, I told my mom yesterday when I called my dad, and I talked to her and I told her about my punishment system. I told her about my 5-hour staring at the wall punishment. And my dad told me today, like, no, don't do that. You should use positive rewards. And I think they have the best intention and I love them, but I know what works for me. I want to avoid pain more than I want to gain pain. So I'm going to continue with my punishments, but it's just important to kind of understand that not everyone's gonna kind of get you, especially when you're reaching for something that is out of the norm. A lot of people who are in the majority aren't going to understand people who don't want to be in the majority. So for me to be doing something that's extreme like that, most regular people aren't going to understand. And that's okay. They can do what they want to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. So just thinking about what I should tell my parents, what I shouldn't tell my parents, and what's best for me. I hope my phone doesn't die, so I think I'm going to end it there. Pretty good day. Got everything I wanted to in. You met a new person for the first time. Tomorrow, a lot more of the same. That's all I have. Good night. Day 7. Day 8. First day of a new week completed.